Friday answers. Question 1. At a birthday party, half of the cake was eaten. Jenny had a further 2/5 of the cake for supper. What fraction of the cake is left? And then, if the whole cake weighed 640 grams, what weight of cake is left? So let's deal with the fraction first. How much of the cake has been eaten? Well, a half and 2/5, so we need to add them together. 1/2 plus 2/5. They have different denominators, so we can't go right ahead and add. We need to find a common denominator. And it's going to be 10, isn't it? There we have the multiples of 2 and the multiples of 5, and it's 10. 10 is the common multiple of a half and 2/5. So turning them into tenths, we've times the 2 by 5, and we've times the 1 by 5, and we've times the 2 by 2, and we end up with 5 tenths and 4 tenths. 5 tenths and 4 tenths is 9 tenths, because once the denominators are the same, we add the tops and keep the bottoms. 9 tenths has been eaten, so there must be 1/10 left. So that's the answer to question A. What fraction of the cake is left? 1/10. Now for part B. The whole cake weighed 640 grams. 1/10 of that is left now, isn't it? So what's 1/10 of 640? Well, it's the same as saying 640 divided by 10. So it's 64 grams. Question 2. The area of the rectangle is 48 centimetres squared. Its perimeter is 28 centimetres. What are the lengths of the sides? Well, remember that area is length times width, and the perimeter is adding up all the sides when you walk all the way around the edge. If we want to find the length and width that have been multiplied together to make 48, we need to find all the factors of 48. That can be used to make a perimeter that adds up to 28. So the first thing to do is find the factors of 48. So any number that will divide into 48, and to be logical, we'll start with 2, the lowest number, because it's an even number. So how many 2's in 48? 2's into 4 go 2, 2's into 8 go 4. So 2 times 24 makes 48, and we have two factors there, 2 and 24. Does 3 divide into 48? Well, 8 and 4 is 12, so if 12 divides by 3, 48 must. How many 3's in 4? 1, remainder 1. How many 3's in 18? 6. So 3 times 16 is 48. Does 4 divide into 48? Well, it's an even number that divides by 2, and when you halve it, it's still an even number. So yes, it divides by 4. How many 4's in 4? How many 4's in 8? 4 times 12. 5 won't go, because anything that divides by 5 ends in 5 or 0. What about 6? Let's try 6. 6 into 48 is 8, so 6 times 8 is 48. So we've found the factors, and now we need to try them as lengths on our rectangle to see if they will give us a perimeter of 28. So let's try 2 and 24. So those sides would be 2, those sides would be 24. Obviously it's more than 28. If we have those sides as 3 and those sides as 16, 16 and 16 are 32, so again it's too big. Try 4 and 12. So there's 4, add 12, add 12. That's 32, it's too big. Let's try 6 and 8. So 6 add 6 is 12, add 8 is 20, add 8 is 28. We've found the length of our sides. The size are 6 centimetres and 8 centimetres. Don't forget the centimetres. Question 3. 1 1/10, take away 4/5. The first thing I'm going to do is turn my first fraction into an improper fraction so that I've got lots and lots of tenths to use to do a subtraction from. So a whole one, because we've got 1, is 10 tenths, and we've got that 1/10, and then we're going to take away 4/5. So 10 tenths and 1/10, we can't leave it like that, can we? 10 tenths and 1/10. Altogether, we have 11 tenths. Now we can do a subtraction. The denominators are different, so the first thing we need to do is find a common denominator, and obviously it's going to be 10. We've had to times the bottom by 2 to get 10, so we times the top, and we end up with 11 tenths take away 8 tenths, which is of course 3 tenths. We can't simplify it, so we'll move on to question 4. Here we have a recipe for tomato soup. How many people will Anita be able to make soup for if she only has 3 tomatoes? Well, in the recipe there are 6 tomatoes, and 6 tomatoes make soup for 4 people. So how many will it make soup for if we only have 3 tomatoes? And the first thing to think about, is it more or less? Well, it was 6 tomatoes, but we've only got 3, so it's going to be less. Have I multiplied or divided? Well, if it's less, I must have divided. So what did I divide, and by what did I divide it? Well, I started with 6 tomatoes and ended with 3, so I've divided the number of tomatoes by something. I divided the tomatoes by 2. So to answer the question, I must divide the number of people it will feed by 2. The recipe has to be scaled down by a factor of 2. Everything in the recipe will be divided by 2 because that's what we divided the tomatoes by. 4 divided by 2 is 2. We can make soup for 2 people if we have 3 tomatoes. Question 5. 2/3 of the children in a school have school dinners. There are 249 children in the school. How many do not have school dinners? If 2/3 do, 1/3 don't. And we want to know about those who don't. So that's 1/3. 1/3 of 249 is the same as saying 249 divided by 3. How many 3's in 2? Well, 2's too small, so move it along. How many 3's in 24? 8. How many 3's in 9? 3. So the answer is 83. 83 children do not have school dinners.